Howdy, folks. Welcome. Hold on a sec. It's been a little chaotic here today, so I didn't really get a chance to set up for the stream, so I'm doing that right now. Let's see. Hold on. There we go. I'm gonna just set this down here for a moment. Alright. Welcome. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm doing a little stream outside today because there's nobody else here to bother. So yeah, so it'd be a little quieter and less stagnant out here. And I'm just now realizing that I don't have a lighter, so I'm gonna go and light the smoke and let some more folks find the chat and join. Yeah, like a few minutes ago. Well, I guess it's been a really hectic morning, and I woke up super groggy, and it's just kind of been like one thing after another thing after another thing all day. But I am really excited to do this stream. So one moment, I'm gonna light this smoke. I'll be right back. Satan, come here. Satan. I just took Satan out to go run, so she's all tuckered out. Huh, Satan? Come here. Come on. You are so cute. Hello. Yes. She's still kind of overheated. Phew. Okay, so yeah. Welcome to the stream. We're gonna be talking about different cooking methods today, because I realized yesterday when I was streaming that, like, you know, a lot of people were talking about or asking about different ways and methods of cooking, and then in the Discord we were talking about my friend was trying to figure out how to cook eggs, and all they had was a microwave, and because they were staying at a hotel, and I was just like, yo, just microwave that shit. But a lot of people don't know that you can do that, and I've been homeless in many different ways over the years, and with access to different things to cook with, so it's kind of, you know, it's something that that I'm pretty well versed in. But you know, the egg trick's super easy. You just scramble them in a cup. You can do it on a paper cup, and just put in the microwave for like 20-30 seconds and stir it up again, and do it again until you feel like it's good to go. And there's a ton of things you can add to it. It's super simple. I've cooked using like coffee makers, like those little coffee makers they have in hotel rooms and stuff. And of course, for many years I cooked exclusively over fire, you know, not with any like unnatural fuel source, just like wood fire. And that's what, like, anything that you can cook any other way, you can cook over a fire. It doesn't matter if it's like microwave food or whatever. And there's, you know, definitely a lot of different ways that you can cook with fire besides wood fire. So I just just wanted to kind of riff on that today. Um, but I'm gonna kind of take my pace down a little bit because it's just been like just real hectic. My friend just headed out because they had a family emergency and needed to jet real quick, so they were really like um, high energy and stressed out, and trying not to let that rub off on me. So I'm gonna just enjoy this for a second. Glad to see y'all. Thanks for coming. Um, so how many of you are living on the road now or living off grid? I want to hear what your situations are so that I can kind of get a read on the room here. Let me know where you're at right now, or what your experience is with off grid cooking or alternative methods for cooking. And yeah, let me know while I dig out my delicious THC here. Let's see. I don't know if this is charged. And I don't know where my cart went. Shed gang for life. Lived in a shed for 3 years. Now I'm in a house. Cool. Yeah, you can do a lot with a shed. You really don't need that much space to live comfortably if you're real smart about it. Whew. Shed gang, nice. I know Mac lives out of an RV. At least a lot of the time. NorCal. Nice, you're in NorCal now. Huh. How's the weather out there, buddy? Hail Halito stoners, okay. Handcuff earrings. Thanks. Thanks. It was a necklace that I found abandoned at a squat, and I took out some of the chain links so that it's shorter, so I could wear it like that because I didn't have anything to put in my ear at the time. Shower at my friends and have an off-grid kitchen sink. Nice, cool. Yeah, that's another thing that is kind of important to touch on too, like not just the actual cooking part of preparing your food, but then what to do after you're done cooking and you need to clean up, especially when you don't have a lot to work with. And there's a lot of really nice and simple ways to set up a simple wash station for your dishes and whatnot. You can do a lot with a couple of even just a bucket or some type of basin, anything that'll hold water, especially if you have two of them, because then you can do a wash and then a rinse. I like to do like the gray water bucket and then the bleach water bucket, so you wash it all out, and then take your bottle of water or your whatever you're pouring water out of and just rinse it before you put it in the bleach. That's like my variation on the 3-part wash system, which they use at rainbow gatherings a lot and other activist type gatherings and stuff when there's a lot of people and you have to feed a lot of people, and of course there's a lot of dishes to wash up afterward. So what people will usually do is they'll have 3 basins, the wash, the rinse, and then the bleach water and the dry station. But for a long time, when I was doing real dirty kid life and living out of my van, I got away with using ash and or sand to wash my pans and my plate and my cup. Like when it would get greasy and dirty, I like to use stuff that you don't really need to wash, like cast iron skillets or like my steel pan, because you can treat a steel pan just like a cast iron if you just wipe it out clean and just treat it, then it seasons itself. But if you have good clean ash, especially if you're cooking over fire all the time, then it's just right there, and you collect that nice fine ash. It'll soak up all the grease, and then you wipe it with like a rag or a paper towel or something. Or if you don't have that, what I'll do is I'll take like a nice clean stick or like piece of punky wood, um, and use that as like an abrasive to wipe out the rest of the ash, and or sand, and get it as like clean and dry as possible, and then just give it a little wipe with my shirt or something if it's not too filthy. And that'll do it. And if you're sketched out about like germs or whatever, next time you heat up your pan, then it kills the germs, so it's not a big deal. Or you can just set your pan in the fire and get it all hot and just scrape out the chunks afterward. Is the bleach dry? Carrying liquid is heavy. Yeah, you don't need the bleach. It just, gives people a little peace of mind. But the sun kills germs too. So if you don't have bleach and you just let your stuff dry in full sun, then it gets the job done too. Especially if it's real hot. Rainbow Gathering, Elder, been to a lot of nationals. Nice. Yeah, there's a gathering in, I think, Vermont right now that a lot of folks are at. I have not been to a rainbow gathering. Oh, thank you, Cole. You're so sweet. That's super sweet. Um, hey, Dave. What's up, dude? Look, yeah. I'm glad that this series is helping a lot of folks because, like, it seems so obvious now. Because it's definitely within my skill set. Oh, it was in New Hampshire. Okay, I got you. Uh, yeah. So a lot of times when people are out at gatherings such as that, or boondocking and camping, like there will be plenty of people that will roll with their own off-grid kitchen in their RV or their schoolie or whatever. And that's great, but sometimes you don't have access to that, and sometimes maybe you're squatting somewhere, or you're camping out where there's no amenities at all, or maybe you're somewhere where you can't build a fire, or maybe you know yeah, there's so many different situations. I want to move out of the sun. So many different situations that you'll find yourself in. So I guess I want to talk about like all of these different types of situations, and I'll start with like the simplest first, like when you are camping and you can build a fire. Like I said earlier, anything that you can cook by any other means, you can do it over a fire too. Cooking is literally just heating your food to the correct temperature. Satan, get out of it. She always wants to go in the garden. So that it doesn't hurt you, obviously, and so that it tastes good, the texture is good. Um, and It really is just that simple. If you're dealing with raw meat or fresh vegetables, it's definitely, like, especially with raw meat, it's definitely more important to cook it properly, because you don't want to get any type of food poisoning. And yeah, so, and with cooking over a fire, there's a ton of different things that you'll find useful. If you have nothing else, what I recommend, if you can only have one thing, I would recommend some type of like decent kettle made out of like a proper metal, like that you can cook over a fire with. Titanium is really popular, but it's really expensive. Sometimes you can go to like international stores, especially like when I'm in SoCal, there's a lot of like Mexican markets. Out here, there's a lot of Asian markets and Mexican markets. And if you go to those types of places, you can find some really interesting types of cookware that are more versatile, rather than, going to Walmart and getting yourself like a Teflon pan or something. Like that's not going to be any good. You want like the, steel or titanium or cast iron or something, because you can put those over a fire and it's not going to damage the cookware. This no, this is not moonshine. This is carbonated water. At this point right now, I do wish that I was drinking moonshine. I'm fucking yeah. After this stream, I'm gonna go into hardcore chill mode. I don't think I'm gonna buy more booze or anything, but because I went to a couple parties in the last couple days and did drink, and now I'm feeling it. I mean, not like hangover, but like I just feel like my brain is not as functional as I like it to be. So yeah, just staying hydrated, trying to eat good. Um, so like if you only can carry one thing, if I were to only carry one thing to cook with, that would be my choice. Is like a nice kettle, because you can use it as a bowl, um, and you can just eat right out of it. It's handy. You can make stew in it. You can just boil water in it. So like if you're somewhere and you don't have access to fresh water, you can boil your water and drink it. It like if you're like next to a river or some type of municipal water source that you don't know what's in it, so you can use it to boil your water. You can use it as a cup, obviously, and you can bake in it too. Like it has a nice metal lid that goes on top. You can use it as like a crude Dutch oven, and I've done that plenty as well. You just got to make sure that it's like properly treated and greased on the inside before you try and bake in it. And there's, I'm sure, tons and tons of informative videos on YouTube that you can look up about how to cook with Dutch ovens. But suffice it to say, when you bake something, you want to put heat on all sides of it. With a thinner metal thing like um, my cooking pot, or my kettle, like the metal is not as thick, so I try to give it a little bit of a buffer and have like I guess maybe put a little bit of um, like ash around it first and then put the coals on it. But the important part is that you're going to want to develop your coals, of course. So what's important for developing coals is nice thick wood that you can burn, not just like sticks and paper and stuff that's going to burn really really hot. The more dense the wood is, the longer the burn is going to be on your coals. So cultivating a good pile of coals. I think Dave earlier mentioned a keyhole, um, or a fire pit or something like that. And basically, what that is it's just a fire pit. Um, like this one. You don't have to get uh, that elaborate with it. You can just dig. Like something about yay big, where you can burn your coals or whatever, your thick wood, or however big you want it to be. And then from that cooking pit, you're also going to want to dig like kind of a trough that goes out. So once you get your coals there, you can move them over into the other side, and then have whatever it is, like your grate, um, or if you don't have a grate, there's a ton of different creative ways that you can keep, even if the trough is just thick enough for you to set your shit on top of too, if nothing else. A couple of rocks go a long way with making sure that your food doesn't fall into your coals or into your fire. And then you just keep the fire going, and as your wood burns down into coals, keep carrying them over to your cooking trough, and you can maintain a nice steady temperature. I'm gonna move back even further. It's like pretty muggy and hot here today. um, so that's like a good standby for cooking over flame. But yeah, if you want to do baking, then you're gonna want to build up like a pile of coals and set your Dutch oven or your kettle down in there, and then heap some more coals on top. And obviously, if you put a fuck ton of coals on there, it's gonna be a little hotter and burn for longer. But if you want to maintain like a specific temperature. You're gonna have to play around with how much or how little you put on there. And you can also, without a Dutch oven, if you have tin foil, one of my favorite tricks that I learned early on was making baked potatoes in your fire. And you just take your potato, and there's tons of other things that this could work for too. And you wrap it up in your tin foil, and you just bury it like in the fire pit near where your fire is, and just kind of like don't build the fire like right on top of it, but like kind of next to it. And you just let your taters sit in inside, like, not like buried deep in the dirt, just like, a little bit under that dirt there. Like, don't get the dirt inside of your tin foil. You're gonna want to wrap it nice, but like that'll give it a nice constant heat, and you can dig it up in like 30 minutes or an hour. It's really hard to like overcook potatoes in that way. But as long as you would put in a baked potato, that's about how long you're gonna want to keep it in the ground near your fire. And you could do that with like, you could do that with like other vegetables as well. And if you want to add like a little bit of water and oil inside, so you take your tin foil and you kind of make like a bowl sort of thing out of it, and you put your veggies in there, and you add just like a splash of water, like a couple teaspoons or tablespoons, and maybe a little olive oil if you got it, or if you're stealing butter packets from the local cafe or something, whatever kind of oil, like literally any type of oil you want to carry that you prefer is fine. I've traveled with um, you know like olive oil or walnut oil. I like a lot, just because it's good, or even just regular vegetable oil, corn oil, whatever, butter, it's fine. It really doesn't matter. Whatever your preferred oil is, you always just want a little bit of it so that you can at least grease your pan. Um, but like, adding a little bit of water to your veggie bake can help so that your vegetables get kind of more steamed in your little packet that you're gonna make with your tin foil. Just make sure you like roll it over so that you don't get dirt and ash in it when you put it in there. And take it out every like 15-20 minutes to a half hour, and check it and see if it's like soft enough for you or not, or just fucking dig it out when you feel like it. That's a nice trick I've used a lot. It's super simple. All you need is to be able to build a small fire and some tinfoil, and you're good to go. Um, there's also like some, like my antique mess kit. It closes over top, and there was a plate before somebody jacked it at uh, at a hobo gathering that I was at, or maybe just accidentally walked off with it. But you could use that like a Dutch oven too, like literally anything. I have cooked turkeys for, we celebrate Fucksgiving. We don't celebrate Thanksgiving, but I have cooked like whole turkeys in a big pot, and like I'll take a larger pot and put it over top, and then just like heap coals around it, dig a deep hole, heap the coals along the bottom, along the sides, and on the top. And I like to get really, really dense wood so that it's like a low and slow burn, because it's a fucking whole turkey. It's going to be cooking in the ground for hours. And as long as you just keep like opening it up every now and then and basting it, you can do that too. Um, I'm going to pivot to other methods of cooking, but if you have any questions about cooking with fire, right now would be the time to field these questions, and see if building a pizza oven, nice. Yeah, I've been able to cook pizzas over fire as well, in so many different ways. I've cooked pizzas on barbecue. I've cooked pizzas over campfires, um, like, yeah, grills, the stove. that, like, any way that you can apply heat, you can figure out a way to cook it. The best way I've found to cook a pizza on a fire is have your grate over your coals, kind of far away from them, so that you're not burning it, and have something else metal, like a metal bowl, or or like a barbecue lid over top, or like literally anything of that nature. Or if you have a cooking or a pan that's big enough to set over it, you can do that. And just so that way the heat will convect around the pizza and melt the cheese on top and not just cook the shit on the bottom. The trick is to move the heat around the thing. And you know, if you can cook a pizza like that, you can cook anything else that you need to bake. Nice. Oh, and I think Dave also mentioned earlier the like in-ground like jet stove. There's tons of different ways you can build those jet stoves, and I mean it's a pretty simple implement. You just want like something like a can or something small inside, and then like something bigger that fits around top, and you need the top to be open, and something like, you know, rocks or pieces of metal or whatever in between the two can things, and then a hole in the bottom where you feed in the sticks. That's, you know, look it up. There's so many different designs that you can do to build your own little like jet boil type stove that you can just burn the tiniest twigs with, using empty beer cans over a fire when we forgot foil. Okay. The thing with beer cans and shit is that they're lined with all sorts of chemicals that aren't supposed to be heated, so I don't recommend that. I have cooked out of like tin cans and shit like that, but it's not preferable. It's not desirable. I'm trying to think of like something that you could just find that you could use instead of tinfoil. I mean, I know people like cook on rocks, but you're not going to be able to like, you know, you can bake if you find a nice big flat rock or a brick or something. You can use that as kind of a, you know, a cooking surface. I'm a sophisticated tramp. Nice. Rather buy my pizza. Okay. Well, some people don't have money, so enjoy that. And some people aren't near a pizza place. Like, this is a big, vast country, and I personally tend to stick to not in town, and I like to go into town as little as possible and deal with money and other humans as little as possible. And I'm sure that I'm not the only one in this chat right now who would rather cook an egg on a rock than go into town and buy a fucking pizza. But you do you. Leuven ovens. I don't know what a Leuven oven is. Cook pizza on a charcoal grill. Fuck yeah. That's cool. I'll talk about stoves in a little bit. I have already talked about diet and food. Today we're talking about how to cook without a kitchen. We're not talking about nutrition, because I have talked about nutrition in the last couple of live streams. So go and check that out after the stream, and I guarantee you anything that you want to know will be at least basically answered. Pizzas for posers. That needs to be a t-shirt, man. I should make a new t-shirt. This is pizzas for posers. Swedish stove. I don't know what a Swedish stove is. Cognitive discharge. So another thing that is cool for fire cooking, I was using a couple of years ago when I was rolling around in King Ratchet. Aurora bought me a this metal fire cooking stove, and it comes in like 4 pieces, and they're all like just flat, thin pieces of like some type of sheet metal, and it packs up to about this big and that flat, and like weighs just a few ounces. And I don't remember what it's called, but it was super nice to have. I cooked my coffee on it every morning and made my dinner at night, and I was able to do it in places where like you're not allowed to build fires because it was just so low key. And if you keep the fire burning hot, it doesn't make smoke. That's another thing. Like, if you need to build a fire and you're somewhere that you're really kind of not supposed to, there is like a variation on the keyhole fire pit where you dig it much deeper, and kind of make like a jet stove or a rocket stove or whatever, with the ground. So you just dig down, and then make like, you dig down kind of, deep enough to build a small fire in there, and then you dig like a really thin, long trough, and you can cover it with like, like sticks and leaves if you want to get fancy with it, or like a piece of bark or something, and then like heap dirt over top of that. So then there's just like, a small hole that you can feed more sticks down into it, and then that will create like a earthen rocket stove that will heat your stuff. And the cool thing is it burns really hot, so that doesn't make smoke. And when you're done, you just fucking like bury it again, and all your ash and stuff gets put out by the dirt. So it's really safe, it's really low key. And yeah, that's a little trick. I don't even remember where I learned that from, but it is cool and it works. So if you don't want to carry around a fucking rocket stove or build one or something, yeah, just get out your trusty trowel, which I know you all carry, because everybody that is smart and good and cool carries some type of small shovel so you can bury your shit when you're out in the woods. And there's so many other uses for it. And you just take that out and you dig yourself a little jet stove. A person's never cooked until you cook a hog in the ground. Fuck yeah, man. Yeah. Cooking big shit in the ground is really fun and super good. Paul says that's a frame for a sterno. You can use it as a frame for a sterno. I assume you're talking about my little wood stove. It wasn't made for a sterno can, but I used it for that too. And cooking over sterno is another good way to cook low key when you don't want to make smoke or build a fire, or maybe you can't for whatever reason. Cans of sterno are like, they can be kind of expensive, and they only get like so hot, so you kind of have to like get your shit right over top of it if you want to get it real hot. So I would just like set some flat rocks underneath with my little wood, my wood stove that I was carrying around, and just like put it up a little bit higher. I've cooked in like Walmart parking lots with sterno, and like just weird places where you're not really supposed to cook, like on the street or in parking lots or whatever. Because sometimes you just got to do it. There's nowhere else to go, or you can't afford to, or whatever. So that's definitely something to keep in your pocket. I always carry at least one can of sterno in my car. And yeah, there's so many uses for it. Making My Way says, I get my food delivered to hop outs and other riders are impressed. That's kind of not cool, man, actually. I don't know if that's like a brag or what, but I would be annoyed if somebody was getting food deliveries to the hop out. I would be kind of pissed off, actually. Is that fucking Jose Sanders saying that shit? What the fuck? Really? That's okay. I'm kind of annoyed. Okay. So we got fire cooking. Let's see. There's a million different ways to cook over fire, and those are just the ones off the top of my head that that are jumping out at me that I would say would be like the most important things to know. And we're at 35 minutes in. We got 55 people in chat, 23 thumbs up. If you want to just kindly pull your thumb out of your ass and hit that fucking like button, I would love that. I want to see those thumbs going up, please. Holy shit, thank you, Nature Glow Adventures. That's so sweet of you. Fuck yeah. You guys are so sweet. So I really fucking super appreciate the kickdowns through YouTube. But if you do want to kick down, make sure that if you can, that you do it through like PayPal or Venmo or Cashapp, because YouTube takes a big cut from that, and also they only pay out once a month, which is like at the end of the month. So if I'm like really hard up, I'm gonna have to wait for like weeks potentially to get the YouTube payout, because they're assholes. Google does not give a fuck about creators. They're super bad. But yeah, I do appreciate it. It will get to me eventually. But if you are feeling super sweet and generous, I'm about to gear up for a little trip to go get my Subaru, and I got to do some repairs on it, and I'm gonna bring it back here and I don't know, start scoping out some spots. And you know, I'm not sure how these next few months are going, or even these next couple weeks, but I guess we'll find out. So if you want to throw down, you want to get down with the kick down, go right ahead. I would love it. Satan would love it. I have not been able to get her the nice bully sticks lately because I've been broke as fuck. But yesterday, a handful of really kind people kicked down, so I'm doing a lot better today. I'm definitely a lot less stressed about it. So thank you very much. Again, I appreciate it. You've taken a lot off my mind. Yeah, it's great. But yeah, I'm about to mobilize. Again, I mean, I've been sitting here for about 2 weeks. So I'm gonna pivot to other cooking methods, because we've covered fire. Now we know anything, say it with me, anything that you can cook any other way, you can cook over a fire. Alright? That's really it. As long as you can build a fire, you can cook, and you can cook nice stuff. And you can, you know, it's something to get good at. But let's say, you know, you're, like, for example, for the last couple years, and this year again, I've been working the beet harvest. So you're working long hours, and you're staying in a hotel. And there's not a whole lot of options for cooking in a place that you don't really like own, and you can't go cook out back. You don't have time to build a fire or space to do it, or time to find somewhere to do it. But it's very important to get good nutrition because you're working your ass off. So I have what I got last year was super cool. It was a fucking $10 like pancake maker thing that I got at Walmart. It's like, you know, this big, and it's basically just like what is it called? It's a heating pad, like just like a burner, and a burner on the other side. And as long as you can fit the food inside of there, it will cook it. I made like egg fritters and grilled cheese sandwiches. I cooked steaks in that thing. And of course, like what it's meant for, you dump some pancake mix in there and it makes a perfect pancake every time. I was starting to get kind of elaborate with it though. See, what I would do is um, I would take my eggs and my veggies and my cheese and my meat or whatever the fuck, and mix up my favorite like mixture, and pour it into the pancake maker and make like a fuck ton of egg fritters, and just like have those for the week. So I just like bust them out, after work, uh, during the evening while I'm getting drunk and fucking chilling out and whatever. Bust out like fucking 5, 10 of those if I have the energy for it. And then you can throw them in the freezer and just microwave them when you're ready to eat them. And then I would like build crazy sandwiches with those, and like, take my bread and add some extra shit like avocado or greens or whatever, and then like throw that on there. And if I'm really feeling froggy, then I can like toast it all up like a big panini and that sort of thing. Um, so that's like one thing that's kind of cool. Or like those electric cook. I don't know why I'm forgetting the name for these things. The electric burner things. Like, they're not off grid friendly, but if you don't have a kitchen and you can't use propane or whatever, that's what you have. And that works just like cooking over a fire, except it's a very controlled heat source, so you get the exact right temperature. Hot plate. Thank you, Captain. Appreciate you. Yeah, it's a hot plate goes a long way. It's literally, it gets everything done that you would do, with any other type of stove. So between, that's definitely something to invest in if you're going to be residing for a while, in like a hotel or like employee housing situation. That's one good thing. Um, Another good thing would be like a George Foreman, because then you can bake all sorts of stuff. Like between the hot plate and the George Foreman, um, when I was doing some like really shit pay intern work for farm co-op thing, that's what I had to work with, and I got really good at different things. Between those and a cooking pan and some tin foil, you can cook literally anything that you can cook in a full kitchen. I mean, except for obviously like artisan shit or whatever, but like normal stuff, like hot dish, or as you call them, casseroles, um, pizzas, tacos, like the works, all of the things, you can accomplish with that. I love George Foreman grills. They're all up in thrift stores. Yeah, they're usually cheap, and they're great. Like, yeah. But if you don't want to shell out for a whole ass George Foreman grills, you could probably score a hot plate for like $10 at a thrift store or something, or find a new one somewhere, like somebody's yard sale or some shit, or maybe find one on Craigslist for cheap. That's really all you need if you can't use fire implements or anything. But let's say you don't want to invest in that either, which you should. It will save you money and make you happier, even if you're just like staying in a hotel for like a week or something like that. Um, yeah, you'll save fuck tons of money doing that. So I would recommend it. But say you don't want to, you can get a lot done with microwaves too. Um, as long as you're not putting like raw meat in the microwave, um, you're fine. There's there's entire cookbooks written about, like, I was reading one. It was actually pretty fascinating. I don't know where you would find it, but I think um, there's like the college dorm room guide or some shit like that on cooking. Different, there's like recipes, like elaborate recipes that you can make using only a microwave. But then, of course, if you're using a microwave, you're also gonna have to get the microwave safe, like, you know, plates and things with the lids so you can like steam shit and whatever. So there's not gonna be, unless you're really clever and you want to do like fire cooking with fucking rocks and stolen tinfoil, you're gonna be putting some type of money into whatever cooking setup that you're working with. So that is the thing. You just kind of got to choose your fighter. But of course, if you are around a thrift store or like one of those international markets or like a flea market or yard sales or something, there's always going to be some type of cookware that you can use, and it's always going to be cheaper than buying new. So I would recommend, if you have the option, to get used stuff. That fucking dog is annoying the shit out of me right now. Oh boy. Hell yeah. Speaking of kitchenware or whatever, grab one of the new pint glasses, official Cornelius pint glass. You want to cheers with my face on it. That is probably like my favorite new item. I need to acquire one for the house here. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go inside because I have sensory issues, especially when I'm trying to talk and that dog is just like not shutting up, and it's kind of making me lose my focus here. So I'm just gonna scooch up to my office now. Hey, sweetie. There we go. Recycle that shit. Back to the office. Oh, I'm so glad that I have this THC cartridge. It's really saving my ass right now. Big thanks to the person that sent it out. I do greatly appreciate it. Okay, is that fan? I'm just gonna turn it off for now. Oh, Ravel to expand is asking about solar ovens, and I'm so glad that you're getting me on solar ovens. Hold on a sec. Because that also gets me onto other methods of cooking with the sun, which is something that I'm also very familiar with. One sec. All right. So now, like I said earlier, anything you can cook over a fire, and anything that you can cook over a fire, you can cook in the sun. It might not give you the same kind of heat as another source, but as long as you can bring food above, I know one of you smart fuckers in there knows the exact temperature that food like becomes, safe or whatever. But like, as long as your cooking implement can get like 200 degrees, 160 degrees, nice. Then you can cook your food to a safe temperature. And like, in order to bake stuff and get it all nice and soft at lower temperatures like that, if you're able to get like 200 degrees in the sun, and I'll explain kind of how to do that too. There's definitely different ways. As long as you can get that hot, like if you leave it long enough and you have it covered so it doesn't get dried out, you can, it'll just take a few hours, like if you're making a bake or something like that, which is what I typically will make. With a solar oven, I'm not gonna like completely explain, like I'll just give you the basics. So a solar oven is gonna be some type of um, like box or something, like something obviously that's, you can buy them just made online. They're like usually about $300 for a decent one, like the one that I was using for a long time. um, but like, some type of box, you can fashion it out of scrap metal. If you have like components that will fit, you're gonna want like something to go inside that your shit sits into. You're gonna want your insulation around the outside, and then like something on the outside that helps. I guess you don't need the exterior plate, as long as you got something metal that you can stick your shit in. And I mean, I guess, yeah, there's tons of ways that you could make insulation for that. And then you need reflective pieces around the face of it that you're going to point at the sun. And these reflective surfaces around the opening, of course, you're also going to want like a tempered glass door to hold the heat in. And then, your external little flappy boys that are going to take the sun and concentrate it into that space. Um, and some of those can get pretty damn hot. The more reflective stuff and the shinier it is, the more that it conducts the the sun's heat and puts it and concentrates it, the hotter your oven is going to be able to get. I mean, if you're not traveling with it actively and you want to be like kind of a crackhead about it, you can get like really fucking elaborate with what you're doing. Like you can, I don't know why people don't use like mirrors. I think maybe because they're like too reflective and it can get dangerous, or maybe they don't focus the heat. People will typically use like, I don't know, there's got to be some type of specific metal that people prefer. That would be something to look into. But using those, that kind of understanding of how it works, I've been able to cook in the sun just using like shit laying around. But also, I was living in Slab City where it gets, I think it's like supposed to be 115 today. The hottest temperature I've seen was 133 degrees. And, I do not live inside when I live in slabs. I live outside. So on those really hot days, you don't have to really be very good at it. You can just kind of, as long as you got, if it is that hot, you can take your Pyrex dish and you, make your whatever the fuck you're making in there, whatever you bake in a Pyrex dish, and then you take like a piece of tempered glass, and yeah, if it's that hot, just like set it on an already hot surface like pavement or a piece of scrap metal or whatever, and just stick that bitch right in the sun, and just forget about it for like 3 hours and come back to it. I mean, you can, when it's really hot, like in slabs, it'll cook in like an hour. But if it's just regular hot and there's good sun that day, like other places where it gets like 90 plus degrees, same principle applies. It just takes a little longer. And it does help if you do put it on some type of reflective surface, because then that'll at least like draw in the heat. Bonus points if you have a reflective surface and you like kind of curve it around that, I've cooked in little Pyrex dishes, but what I prefer in that situation would be like a dark colored pot with a piece of tempered glass over top, because that tempered glass will hold that heat in directly from the sun too. Yeah. No, I don't know about cooking with magnifying glass, man. I guess specific types of magnifying glasses, sure, like the ones that they use for projectors. You could use that, but the thing is, they work too good, so you're just gonna get like, if you had like a projector lens, then I could actually see you being able to cook with that. Um, but yeah, not just like a straight magnifying glass. You're just gonna start a fire. I mean, I guess if you like focus it in such a way so that it's not like at a pinpoint. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a scientist. If you want to fuck around with cooking with magnifying glasses, let me know how that goes. Because I've not tried to build and implement or some type of cooking item using that. A regular magnifying glass can purify water. I could see that. Yeah, that makes sense. That's kind of cool. Mirrors won't reflect enough UV. Okay, that makes sense, I suppose. They don't really work that way. Um, I mean, you can get away with just using like the shiny side of tinfoil. I know of people that have built cruder solar ovens by taking like pieces of cardboard and then like lining it with the tinfoil so that you get that that flat reflective surface. And what's cool about the cardboard and the tinfoil is that you can like bend it into whatever shape it is that you need it to be in. So that's kind of cool. You can definitely play around with that. Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's any other. I mean, that pretty much like covers the whole cooking with the sun. Like the whole idea is to, take the existing heat from the sun and concentrate it into whatever you're baking your shit in. Thank you for the $1. Oh shit. Somebody. Oh shit. Oh fuck. Am I back? Shit. Okay, are we still here?